Well, hey there folks, and welcome to another adventure with Mike at Trillium Hikes. So, intro, even though I'm more than 3 kilometers into this hike, today is finally the second half of the Elgin Trail, which stretches from, if you want to go from the coast of sorts, it runs from Port Stanley on the Lake Ontario up into just past kind of like an in-between section between London and St. Thomas, and that's also where you actually pick up the Thames Valley Trail and keep on going all the way up to Conestoga on the Avon Trail. So there's actually 3 trails that you can hike for a total of roughly 230 kilometers, but the Elgin Trail is only 40. So we did the first half of the Elgin Trail last fall with a good friend and fellow outdoor adventurer called Lisa. Handle is Into the Trees with Lisa B. So she's been a great contact locally here, and we'll be meeting up with her a little bit later. But today it was a pretty slow start of sorts, because the halfway point is actually right in the middle of St. Thomas. So needless to say, if you've seen my videos before, you know I don't really like to film like in a residential area or people for that matter. So took a little bit more than 3 kilometers to get into the trees here and get away from the traffic and the excess noise and record this intro. So anyways, without any further ado, so again, roughly about 20 kilometers today, second half and the finale of the Elgin Trail in Elgin County. Hope what you like so far, and remember folks, like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and you'll be updated on the upcoming content that will be soon to follow. The reason for the big backpack is I'm in training. So if you've been following along with the other videos, you'll know that I'll be hiking the GDT, or the Great Divide Trail, this summer. So 1,200 kilometers over roughly 8 weeks, plus travel there and back. So I need to get all the training time I can, and well, this is one of those excursions. So stay tuned. Hope you like what you see here, and I'll hope to see you out there on the trail. Till then. One thing about hiking in the summer are all the wildflowers are out in bloom. So far, and again, I haven't really hiked much along the trail once it got into the woods, but so far I've been surrounded by these really pretty flowers on either side of the trail. One more purple and a little bit more on the pink side, but very cute. And for anybody that's curious, the pack that I'm currently wearing has roughly about 25 pounds. So what I wanted to do is mimic a loadout of the GDT. So I actually have all the gear that I would be carrying with me on the GDT. So my tent, my sleeping arrangement, like the bag, the pad. I also use a little piece of like a rubberized mesh to keep the pad from slipping underneath me. First aid kit, of course, although I carry that no matter what hike I do. 2 liters of water, 8 days of provisions. So again, I wanted to add as close to an approximate weight that I would be carrying with me, and all my electronics. So not just my DJI Osmo Action, but a couple extra batteries, 2 Charmast 26,800 milliamp hour battery banks, so that adds quite a bit of weight to the pack. But it's one thing to get out in nature and do a hike, which I don't do enough of these days, considering I have a YouTube channel about the outdoors. But I haven't really trained all that much, and not nearly as much as I should have for the GDT. So 20 kilometers with a 25-pound pack should be a good exercise. And I'm just going to flip this around and show you a little bit more of the terrain. So far it's pretty easy going. What you saw back there was the first, what I would consider to be a natural water source. You do cross over that same river or drainage creek that I showed you in the first half of the trail, but just like the first half, it really wasn't moving all that much, so I wouldn't necessarily trust it as a water source unless you really want to clog up your filter. There was one spot while you were kind of hiking through St. Thomas where there's like a little bit of a park, and you could go down into the park. So this would be right around Stanley Street if you're looking at the map, and I'll post it right now for you so you can actually see what I'm referring to. But there is a little bit of a drop off for the water, so that might be only the one location that I would suggest even thinking about grabbing water from that creek. At least the running water over some kind of a rock face or something. Like I'm talking like a drop like this much, so it's not like it's a waterfall, but at least it's running water and it's not stagnant. So that would be the one possibility so far anyways. Not sure if there's any more coming up. Lisa had done the majority of this second half, and she said that it was pretty boring in sections, but not as bad as the roughly the first 10 kilometers of the first half of the Elgin Trail, where it's all road walking. So we'll have to see how it compares. Anyways, onward. Well, okay then, but we check it out. So I'm roughly 6 kilometers into the hike today, starting from the old rail bridge in St. Thomas. Well, that's kind of cool. Looks like the embankment has been slowly eroding away. You can see a better view of the water and how silty it is. Beautiful day today. So a funny thing just happened. There was another outlook for the dune, so I went to check it out, and on the other side of the ravine I thought I saw a deer, but then it was like, of course my vision is not the greatest either, so I thought, well, it's just an old tree trunk or something, because it had roughly the same kind of color as, you know how trees kind of get like almost like a reddish color depending on the type of wood and how long it's been out decomposing and whatnot. So I thought it was just a tree stump. Besides, it was like perfectly still. And of course, before I could get my camera out, it moved. So it was a deer. So there was a little highlight for the day so far. Anyways, onward. Deer in our fawn. That's awesome. Oh, so cute. So I should really back up a little bit, but you can, I think, see the remnants of what used to be a bridge down there and a little bit of a border and right behind new development. So not the nicest thing to see, of course, when you're trying to enjoy the outdoors, but c'est la vie. But at least it's not as bustling and noisy as it was in St. Thomas. Well, still in St. Thomas, but not in the heart of it. The Ultra Lone Peaks that I'm wearing right now is probably the first time I've worn them on the trail with a significant pack, and it's definitely a very different feeling than the Merrells that I'm accustomed to. You can really feel all the bumps and maybe not necessarily crevices, but the stones and whatnot under the Lone Peaks. Getting my words mixed up here. That's kind of cool. So the Merrells have a thicker sole. It's a much more rigid shoe. So depending on what your own requirements are from that perspective, I'm definitely not going to tell you what to wear. I think, I haven't really tested it out yet, but I believe the Merrell Moabs are a bit of a taller shoe. Both the Ultras and the Merrells allow you to take the insole out and replace it by something else. So in the Merrells, I had a pair of Dr. Scholl's inserts for plantar fasciitis, which don't really last a long time on the trail, by the way. But with the Ultras, it's just a very different shoe, and I feel that they're actually quite comfortable. It's just a matter of getting accustomed to, you know, feeling those twigs and those rocks a little bit more under your feet. So it's kind of interesting. Kind of like the bridge that I see right now, and I think we're about to cross it. So I'm going to take you along with me. So I'll spin this around. So it looks like the trail kind of continues that way, but I do see signage to take us across the bridge, which is right over here. Yeah, marker, trail users code. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out. I did run into a trail volunteer just a little while ago. So huge thank you to all the volunteers to make this trail possible. Without you, it'd be bushwhacking every single time that we come out here. So thank you very much. Looks like there was a little bit of a repair going on a little bit of a bridge. Nothing as elaborate as this one here, but still it takes a lot of effort, a lot of strength, a lot of endurance, you know, to carry supplies. You know, even if you're, you know, parking your car, you know, a couple kilometers away, it's, you know, it takes a lot of effort to bring tools and supplies and everything else to build, repair, and, you know, do whatever else. So huge thanks to all the volunteers out there. Thank you. So low road just traveled, big ravine, old bridge, definitely not safe anymore. Although it does kind of make you wonder, was that for trails, or was that actually used back in the day for, you know, moving carts and farm equipment and supplies, horses? Needless to say, there's appears to be multiple trails and obstacles for use of off-roading with bikes. But so far on this beautiful Saturday, I haven't run into anybody on the trail except for that one trail volunteer for maintenance. And of course, people in the city. Kind of nice to have the forest to yourself. Ooh, that one's got some bounce. It's some funky fungus. Speaking about fungus, if anybody is curious about fungus and mushrooms that grow in the forest, if you've watched my videos, you may be familiar with Paul. He and his wife actually did a excursion with a chef who forages for his own mushrooms, and he actually took the group out into the woods, foraged for some mushrooms, and needless to say, he said that the only mushroom that is both easily identifiable and is edible are the really big soccer ball mushrooms that grow in the forest, but usually only in fall. So I'll see if I can find, I know I've taken a picture with Paul and I goofing around with one of those mushrooms, or a little bit of a video. Maybe we can do like a picture-in-picture for the video, but they can't be missed. Like, quite literally, they're close to the size of a soccer ball, so you can't really miss them. And they just like grow, you know, you might be looking at, you know, like an area like this, and all of a sudden you see this like huge round mound, and that's an edible mushroom, and it's solid inside. It's solid mushroom. But otherwise, unless you really know what you're doing, you could get deathly ill or die. I found some very, very cute and colorful mushrooms, but over my experience hiking in the Ontario trails, but I would certainly not risk attempting to eat any mushroom unless I had somebody else tell me that it was safe to do so. A professional, just to put that out there. Anyways, I'm going to enjoy this breeze here for a sec, and I see a log, and I might have a sit down and have some lunch. Nice day. Just finished lunch and came out of the trees briefly, and looks like we're going to take a little bit of a, I don't want to say a detour, but really pretty route. So instead of following the road, we're actually going to follow the trail right past here. Maybe an old paddock overrun with wildflowers next to a little bit of a stream. Not too murky, so it could serve as a water source. And it's running, it's not stagnant. So really pretty here. Nothing but flowers at the ground level and all these trees. I guess it's a little windy up there. Kind of reminds me of hiking the Bruce Trail in the peninsula section in May when all the trilliums are in bloom. Just a forest of flowers. Hey there folks, haven't recorded in a little bit. I did a little bit of road walking, and I'm about I think about 10 or 11 kilometers into the hike. Getting a little bit more rugged right now. So I crossed a ravine earlier. Don't think you'll be able to see the bridge. Following another little creek bed, but as you can see, the trail is a little overgrown. Not as well used in this part, and a lot of up and downs, puds in the trail lingo. Not doing too badly. A little behind schedule in terms of meeting up with Lisa for the last few kilometers of the hike, and I think I might dip my hat in that water, cool down a little bit, and check a little bit later. Bugs aren't actually too bad. Every once in a while I get a nice breeze, even though it's probably pushing about 30 degrees Celsius right now. But overall, quite a nice day. Well, if you're actually trying to get his attention, you may have to speak up a little. At least this one's not going to scare the shit out of me this time. So according to the trail, walk along the prop here for a little bit. Then you take a left turn. You see nothing but this, which is really nice. But then they snuck in a blaze off to the right there. And I wanted to just check out the tracks. Just filled up with water a little while ago, and a groundhog had made his way through the underbrush and was watching what I was doing. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the camera out in time to get him on video, but it's quite the scene regardless. Do you see him? Right on that branch. Cute little guy. Deer, like not even 20 feet away from me, and all of a sudden I heard it go and then just bolt off into the woods. I was trying to get my camera out to show you another change of, not quite terrain, but foliage. Getting to see quite a bit of nature on this hike, which is a little unusual for me. I'm not sure if that's because I usually hike in the fall and the spring, but so far I've seen 3 deer, a fawn, groundhog, a bullfrog. Been quite the treat. Port Stanley Terminal train. That's cute. The stairs, on the other hand, not so much. Yeah, at the top of that little climb, gotta check this little place out. Now, I did not see a blaze on this side. There's a blaze. Tasking a bunch of pictures. Cute though. Alright. So I think Lisa is going to meet up with me somewhere right about here. Continues uphill. Lovely. Port Stanley. And I think we definitely have ice cream in our immediate future. Maybe a stop at the LCBO. Funky cores galore. Oh, and there's the train. Well, hey there folks, Mike here, and guess what? We are in Port Stanley, and the famous Mackey's right behind me. So several hours and 24 kilometers later, we made it to the end, and my lovely hiking partner said that the terminus was at the end of the dock, and it's not. We had to go all the way to the end of the dock only to discover that that's not where it is. I will tell you where it is. It's on the other side of the dock. Anyways, so great outing today. Weather was really nice, and it held in. A little overcast for a little while, but otherwise it was great. Filled up with a little bit of water at the fish hatchery, which I filmed earlier. So that got me to Port Stanley. Unfortunately, it looks like the meal that I had on me was a little musky and a little beyond the expiration date, but oh well, that's my fault. Anyhow, highly recommend the Elgin Hiking Trail if you're looking for something to do in the Lambton and Elgin County areas. More details will be in the video description below. Please hit that like, subscribe, and bell so that you get alerted for more content, and we'll see you out on the trail. Thanks.